and you could walk off that private road onto the private orchard estates and be at her back door or front door, whichever way. Front door is really at the back of the house because the house looked over a hill and the driveway comes up around to the back of the house.
Although she didn't say the names, she would mention the office of different people that were instrumental in keeping bills from going to the floor.
Well, isn't that interesting? I find his remarks. Now, this guy was such good friends with the bear. This Tim, also known as Grizzly, to the late Bruce Schaefer, a husband of ex-state Senator Nancy Schaefer. Such good friends, he could walk right in the bathroom while Tim is in the bathroom. I mean, didn't I just walk in? This is a really good friend, and he knows Tim and Nancy really well. As he said, he's known Nancy since the 1990s. He's saying Nancy's getting death threats. You know, as I look at the GBI report, there's other things not in here that I think should have been in here. Number one, they didn't call me, and I had talked to Nancy prior to her death. They never called me. Well, maybe they didn't want to. But here's an open records request dated September 21st, 2010, okay? And it's denied. And here's the attached request. It's from the guy that first wrote the questioning article, whether she'd committed suicide or her husband committed suicide. It's from a man named Garland Favorito. He lives near Atlanta, Georgia. And they respond to him, "Dear Mr. Favorito, the following is in response to your open records request. The case is still an open investigation. Therefore, based on the exemption provided under OCGA 50-18-72 sub A sub 4, the information you have requested is not subject to dissemination until the investigation is concluded. When the file has been closed, it will be made available for dissemination under the Open Records Act." Well, fine. That's how they responded. That's what, if I had put in a request and said, I want to know, what you got, where you're going with this, I would have got the same answer. But here's what's troubling to me. Now we've got the final investigative summary. Page 1 of 1. On Friday, December 12th, 2010, Special Agent Brian Whitby completed a final review of this investigation. The investigation revealed that the victim, Nancy Schaefer, was shot by her husband, Bruce Schaefer. It doesn't say how they came to that conclusion. Bruce subsequently shot himself after killing Nancy. Bruce left numerous handwritten notes, which were given to no forensic handwriting experts to examine to be sure they really were Bruce's. I find that just unbelievably convenient. But they says in the report, Bruce left numerous handwritten notes throughout his residence indicating that he had killed his wife and shot himself. The autopsies of both Nancy and Bruce support the investigative conclusion that Nancy died from a single gunshot wound and that Bruce died from a self-inflicted gunshot. All the items seized during the investigation and or created at autopsy have been disposed of. Hello. When they're doing the investigation, they can't let you see anything or show you anything. But when they conclude it, they destroy the evidence. How very convenient. The bed sheets and clothing from the bodies of Nancy and Bruce were destroyed as biohazards. Oh, really? I've talked to the singers who still have the bloody shirt their father was wearing when the police up there in northern Utah, I think Marion, Utah County, whatever the county name was, they still got their bloody shirt, his bloody pants. They still have it. It's not that big a biohazard. But by destroying the bed sheets as a biohazard, they've eliminated any chance that any future technology, supposing there was somebody and they came and they just leaned on that bed to position Bruce, and they left some scintilla of DNA, human oil, something that at a future technology comes around, they could detect that third person and identify that third person. Now they've conveniently destroyed it. But if you'd asked for anything prior to that, they can't tell you anything because the investigation's still going on. I find this troubling that they destroy the bed sheets and make it very convenient. You know, if she was, everybody loved her, and clearly the pedophiles, the judges that are corrupt, the CPS workers that are corrupt, their homosexual buddies and lesbian friends that were doing things with little children they should not have been doing, that were about to be exposed in that book and in that documentary that Wilkie was working on, the videographer. Certainly those people had a motive and a reason to silence Nancy and her husband. If this was been, you know, Tinkerbell or somebody who everybody loved, I would say, yeah, okay, they got depressed and they committed suicide. But this doesn't add up right. So they destroyed that. The clothing taken from the bodies of Nancy and Bruce were destroyed as biohazard. In addition, hand wipings, projectile swabs, and post-mortem prints were also destroyed. Hello? What if you guys got it wrong there at Georgia Bureau of Investigation? Agent Whitby reviewed this investigative file with Mountain Judicial Circuit District Attorney Brian Rickman. Now, wait a minute. Doesn't Rickman have some political motives? Rickman agreed with the determinations and made during this investigation that the deaths of Nancy and Bruce Schaefer were the result of murder-suicide. The case is considered closed. This case is considered closed. Closed. Really? Special Agent Brian O. Whitby, December 10th, 2010. Yet it was not released until February. Now, why is that? Why did they close it in December? But the official date of closing, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation fact sheet, right here, says 02/02/2011, date closed. Evidence room cleared on December 16th, 2010. Crime lab contacted? Not applicable. Really. I mean, I've only gone just a few pages through this report, and what I'm finding does not leave me feeling like this state senator and her husband really got their money's worth out of GBI. Now, I'm happy to talk to Agent Whitby. Question is, will he answer my questions? We're going to have to find out. Yeah, they've got the Orchards Golf and Country Club logbook here. Oh, wonderful. Here's the logbook. Gives a whole bunch of names of people that entered that day. Fine. Do you really think if somebody was out to murder them, they would drive in, give the right name to the gate guard, when all they have to do is walk in through the back gate or walk through the woods anywhere? Well, I think we should talk to Garland Favorito, who had his information request denied. But we're not going to do it today's show, but you won't want to miss the next show we do on the murder of William Bruce Schaefer and his beloved wife, the late and great State Senator of Georgia, Nancy Schaefer, a champion for accountability in a system of putrefaction in public services such as CPS, child support, child protective services, and the judges, and all their interlinking webs. And yes, it may just turn out we're going to call the ex-governor of Georgia, Sonny Perdue, and see what he's got.